This is the Mario Kart World Tiny Titan. It sports sleek chrome handles on the door, Luigi tires, fuzzy batteries, and a fully black spoiler here on the back. This is a car with great speed, and it shows the world that it should never be underestimated. It's tiny and a titan, a giant metaphorically and in terms of what it can accomplish, which is why it's perfect for my guest today, CurlieQ. Curlie is the creator who exemplifies these principles the most. Over 13,000 followers on Twitch, more than 10,000 on Twitter, and she's consistently shown what it takes to learn and grow as a person while simultaneously translating that into victories for herself, sure, but also for charities and communities alike, such as the very recent Make-A-Wish Canada.
Holy! My dog found a bomb buried in the yard. I didn't mean to do that!
So I'm Dr. Kendo, and this is Creators in Karts Getting Coffee.
It might be hard to see me, but you're very close.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, why is it so hard to see you? Oh my gosh, there.
Yeah.
That was crazy. So yes, it's the Tiny Titan. That is what I think of you. I think so highly of you. I think of you as like a giant, kind of metaphorically, you know, by personality.
No, that works out great, especially because I'm only 5 foot. So I mean, I am tiny, but you know, big heart. So
yeah, that's what I would have been afraid of, right? Is if you were like, what? I'm like, 5'11" or something. I would have been like, oops, because I've never met you in person, right?
Yeah, but yeah, very, very excited to be here and looking forward to some cozy cruising.
Yes, that's exactly right. So you are the first guest. I've got my coffee right here. If I didn't show you, it's like a Legend of Zelda. So I've got like a Link mug or whatever.
Oh, I love that.
So
I have a healing tattoo. I'm not sure if I'm even getting it on my cam here. And it has the 3 hearts, the pixel heart HP bar, and the 3rd heart only has half a heart. I'm big Legend of Zelda fan over here.
Yes, great. So this mug did not fall on it was on the right audience. So thank you so much again. You are the first guest, and I was just like so happy because I think you and I, it's like we go way back, right? But we go back to the unspeakable like Voldemort times, which is Pokemon Unite, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so, yeah, I figured like you and I may touch on that a little bit, but we're going to focus on all sorts of things. And so I'm going to have you, anytime you want a change of scenery, I'm going to try to follow you as best as possible. But if we get split up, it's okay. I'll follow you as best as I can, or we can each kind of do our own little things here in Mario Kart World. And so I think the first thing that I did want to talk to you about before, maybe Unite or anything else was just like, what have you overall been feeling about the Switch 2 and Mario Kart World? Just kind of like everything, we could go on to like the price or the enjoyment of it or like controversy. Is there enough games for it? Just kind of all those things.
Oh, wow. There's so much that we could talk about here.
Yeah.
So I will say, I know there was a big argument about, the price. A lot of people didn't like the price. Oh, I'm not trying to leave this area. I'm so sorry. I'm turning around. I just realized I'm going out of the map that we picked. But so I know one of the big controversies with the Switch 2 was, the price. And I've been trying to tell people whenever the Switch 2 got announced, there was going to be a group of upsetty spaghetti people no matter what. You're either going to have people who were upset because the Switch is actually making upgrades. And so that's going to, make the cost of their game or their system, more expensive. Mm-hmm. Or you were going to have a Switch that was the same price as the original Switch, but not much changed with it. Like maybe, bigger battery life or a bigger screen or something, but not the hardware that could actually run games better and run bigger games that are more graphically complex. And so I feel like Nintendo Switch, for the Switch 2, they found a happy middle ground. I think the price is very worth what the console is. But I also feel like Nintendo's always been the family-friendly console, and that means being affordable in a sense for the average home, but also they don't want to get stuck behind all the other consoles, right? Like they have to, create a console that can play these graphically complex games. I mean, you look at Scarlet and Violet and how laggy it was, and I always believed that if Game Freak or Nintendo could do anything about that lag, then they would have done something about it. They would have fixed it. I don't think that if they had the power to fix the console with like a patch or whatever on the Switch 1, then they would have, but they never did. And so in my mind, I'm like, okay, like, is this because the Switch 2 actually isn't, or sorry, not the Switch 2, the Switch 1 isn't actually able to handle a game like Scarlet and Violet? Because, you go to that one lake there in Paldea and you try to shiny hunt some water type Pokemon, and the spawns are really weird. You're not getting the right amount of spawns, and then the lag is just absolutely terrible, especially if it starts raining. So yeah, I think the console isn't as expensive as your PlayStation, your Xbox, and it's not as strong as those consoles either, but it's a happy medium in my opinion to try to appease both parties, people who still want to be able to afford the console and people who want something that's stronger. Because I think Nintendo has gotten a little bit behind. I will say my only gripe with the Nintendo Switch for me personally is the library. I do think Mario Kart is a really great game. In fact, this is like the first Mario Kart World, or the first Mario Kart game that I have found myself like wanting to play solo, because you got the P-Switch missions. I'm so sorry. Oh my god.
That's gonna happen, isn't it? Yeah. Remember that time that I was like, Curly needs to win, I'm gonna stop, and then you just ran right into my bomb. It was like when you were streaming.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
I think Mario Kart's a really great game because of the P-Switch missions and the panels and, trying to unlock all the skins and stuff. And even the picture mode in this game is, like, phenomenal. Yes. I have loved taking pictures, like, when I see, a sunset or a sunrise.
Yep, that's what I'm hoping we'll do today.
Exactly,
Some
yeah.
Pictures,
I have a few pictures that I've taken in this game on my Switch that I've been meaning to upload to social media, but... it's a really cool game. First one that I found myself, like, I don't need friends to play this game with. However, I think the Switch 1 had, like, a better release game. It came out with Breath of the Wild, which I think is just really cool. I love Breath of the Wild.
It was Zelda.
It was a big game too. So, with that being said, I mean, I'm a patient person, so we just have to wait for the cool other releases that are in store for us this year.
Right.
Like Donkey Kong Bonanza, for example. I do think for me, it's not so much about what the library looks like right now, but more so the potential that this console has. Mm-hmm. I've even seen rumors that Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth might be getting ported to the Switch 2, and that's one of like my favorite games. Very nice, graphically complex game too. So like, I think it's gonna look really good. It's just a matter of performance, and I'm very excited to see what this console is going to be able to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. I think that the thing about... So I had a friend that was like, they pre-ordered Switch 2, and then they actually said, I'm having second thoughts. Like, I'm going to go ahead and cancel this. And at first I was like sad, I'm such a like kind of Nintendo defender, so I have to kind of watch it. But anyway, they said, there's just not a lot of games right now other than Mario Kart that I want to play. Mm-hmm. So I have to understand that perspective, but... the only counter kind of thing that I had to it was just that, you see, I invest in the console as a long-term thing. Like, you saw the life that the Nintendo Switch 1 had. That was a very long generation for any console. We know it's Nintendo, so you know that you're going to get probably a Splatoon or like a Zelda or a Mario or all the above, right? Yeah, and they are very good at surprising us too. So, who knows what new IP is going to come out. And you mentioned Donkey Kong, which... I will say I was not sold on at all until I just saw the Direct today.
Okay,
I just saw the Direct, and I was like, oh my gosh, now I need to get it, because they have that sculpting mode, where you can, like, DK artist.
Yeah, I also love that Pauline is going to be the companion to Donkey Kong. I mean, we don't really see Pauline as much as we see some of these other main Mario characters. And so yeah, I think that is very exciting to see her making a little debut. And who knows, maybe we'll get like a Donkey Kong Bonanza DLC or free update to this game where they give us younger Pauline and Cranky Kong and some
DK
of the
skins.
Exactly, yeah. There's a lot that they could do with Donkey Kong Bonanza coming out that might relate to Mario Kart World, but we'll see.
Yeah, you and I are so same-brained about that because I was thinking Mario Kart World is actually the perfect kind of, I was going to call it app, because it's very like Pokemon Go, where Pokemon Go can accomplish the marketing for other games that they're doing. They can say like, hey, the Hisuian region is like this new thing, so we're going to celebrate it in Pokemon Go as well.
Yeah.
And so this game could do that. And so I was thinking, yeah, that could be like for everything. It could be even when they have Splatoon, if they want to bring Inklings back in, whatever it may be. I feel like Mario Kart World could take a part in that, but hey, we'll see. Who knows if they'll go that route. They should talk to me and Curly, though. Nice sunset right here. Oh my gosh, the sky's looking all pink and stuff right here. I'll get the camera. No, don't turn night.
Oh, no, that's okay.
We lost the sunset. So, do you want to do photo lesson time or whatever? Remember when we were talking about photos?
Yes.
So,
tell me your secrets.
So I just kind of had photography all through my life, and that was like film cameras, you guys. Look at that, helicopters going by. This is amazing. But yeah, so ultimately there's sort of two main things, and the biggest one is your knees. So we're not actually physically holding a camera, but what that means is people actually, whoever's the photographer holding a camera, is bending your knees. You can see that that's the first thing I do is go kind of down low right here. So, the photo mode might start you like this or something, like up at the mid. And so I'll actually take both joysticks. So look at this, we'll go down, so I'm like on the ground, like my camera is like on the ground. So already it's like looking kind of cool. Now it's leaving a lot of space and stuff, so we're gonna zoom in right here. And so when you've got something like this, here's the other like cool principle, I guess, of photography. And this is something that Pokemon Snap hates. So it's like, I feel like that game teaches you wrong, but there's something called rule of thirds. Have you ever heard of that?
Yes.
So yeah, you imagine essentially that your camera lens, we could say the screen right now, the TV that I'm looking at, is divided up into 3. And so you want something kind of on the side and then have everything in the background around it. So if you can see my screen, essentially, going in the middle would be like this with Peach. That's okay. But what about taking her to the side? So you see she's on the right. Okay, thanks, Rosalina Bus Tours. But you see, that's like the rule of thirds, right? Like if it was in the middle, this is Pokemon Snap. Like they want it right in the middle. And that's okay. Like that's not a bad photo, but it makes it so interesting, especially when you have something in the background to look at that spike. See, like that spike's back there. Boom, like take a picture. So that's kind of how I do it, is those two main principles, is you get kind of low and shoot up, and rule of thirds.
All right, noted. Now my pictures in Mario Kart World are going to come out even better.
Oh, it's going to be so cool. I can't wait to see that. Okay, do you think this will be, can you move Cow's head like with Peach? So that would mean moving your camera kind of sideways and like move it to look at where Peach is looking.
Like a face camera.
So there we are. So cute. Now I want to get one of these birds. Anyway, I'm getting a few pictures. Oh my gosh, the bullet just destroyed that Rosalina tour. They will all get their money back. Okay. Yeah, Cow. Work it, Cow. Okay. Curly Cow.
Love this. The picture mode is so cool.
Well, I got one with the birds too.
Nice.
Look at that birds just hanging out, like photobombing us. But yeah, we did it. So I kind of wanted to talk to you though, like this is interesting and I don't want you to, feel like you have to say any personal information that you don't feel like it, but you've just been going through all the motions, like we should say so many motions for permanent Canadian residency, right? And so I need to ask you because I've heard conflicting stories from 2 different Canadian dwellers who are good friends, but also creators. They're actually in the Pokemon spaces, but I want you to help me set the record straight, okay? So I'm going to use this kind of example of like during COVID, you know, sorry to be getting into this, but like Americans, it seemed like they were very divided. Like, okay, wear a mask. Some people would be like, yeah, do it. And it's like healthy, then no big deal. And then others were like, hell no, you know, like my civil liberties, like whatever they were arguing about. It was like very controversial. So somebody told me in Canada that it's really no big deal. You know, if the government or whoever says like, hey, put on a mask, they just kind of do it and it's like not a controversy, right? You know, it's like not a big deal. And then I heard from another Canadian, someone who was also in Toronto. They're both in Toronto. And then she was saying, no, Canada has its like rebels. They were absolutely like, you know, out there, you know, making a hissy fit and blah, blah, blah. So Curly, what's the real story?
Honestly, well, I mean, you mentioned the two people that you talked to were from Toronto. So I was going to say, like, it probably depends on the area. Because, I mean, just like the states, you know, there are states that are more Democratic. There are states that are more Republican. And it's the same for provinces and even, like, towns all throughout Canada. So I definitely think one factor is just where you are located. I find that I never encountered anyone that was really like upset about it, or like you're infringing on my rights sort of attitude about it. Of course it was something that, you know, it's like, I mean, who wants to go outside in the summertime wearing a mask over their face? Like, you know, it's not the most ideal situation. Of course, you know, there's people who like complain about it, but it's like, well, we gotta do it, so, you know, you just do it. At least that was my experience. I never found anyone that like felt like it was a big
super
ask.
Controversial.
Okay. I do know that there are people though in Canada who definitely feel that way. I mean, of course there's going to be people like that, but I did find that at least in my experience, most people didn't care. It was just kind of something we had to do because we were told to do it, and obviously like no, like who wants to get sick, who wants to get COVID, right? So yeah, that was my experience.
I had it once and it just absolutely like it destroyed me, dude, because like I just know that I've got all these just kind of like bodily issues, right? And so just I was completely dead, you know.
Oh gosh.
Like, I don't think I've recovered still right now.
Yeah, well, and I never got COVID, thankfully, and God, hope I never do. It's probably because I'm such a homebody. I rarely leave my house. I mean, I do see, like, nieces and nephews and stuff, and, you know, they bring home sicknesses and whatnot. But luckily, you know, dodged a bullet. But, yeah, no, COVID time was so rough. I will say it's kind of nice, like, during that time, I remember Animal Crossing New Horizons came out. Yeah. And it was like, I don't know, it felt like the world was healing. It brought a lot of people together. And I think like the streaming space was such a healthy place to, you know, be able to like still socialize with people. Because, I mean, I don't know what it was like for the States, but Canada was very much like, or at least my area of Canada was very much on lockdown. Barely anybody was, you know, going out and stuff, and there was a time when you couldn't get together for like parties or barbecues or whatever if you had a certain amount of people. Like you were not allowed to have over, I think it was like 10 people at your house or something. It might have even been a smaller number than that. And so it was a time that I feel like a lot of people felt, you know, isolated. Me as an introvert, it wasn't too bad. I'm like, well, I do this all the time. I will say there were some points in the year where I was like, okay, like I am getting a little bit of that cabin fever because I'm like a house plant, you know, like I just need a little bit of water, a little bit of sunlight, and I'm good. I don't need too much of it, just a little bit. I just need to go out a little bit, you know, touch some grass. And get some fresh air, and then I'm golden. But you know, I'm not like overly extroverted. I don't go out every weekend and stuff. But yeah, so very isolating time for a lot of people. But it was kind of cool to see how much streaming and Twitch blew up in that time, because for a lot of people that was like their only means of social interaction. So
yeah, I was kind of talking to somebody, like it was just a friend saying about this same exact thing of what life was like, and especially with streaming and stuff. And Curly, I'm also way introvert. Like my energy gets so drained talking to people. But Yeah, I love to just be at home and stuff. And so I almost made the mistake of being like, yeah, I loved COVID. But it's like, no, I don't mean that. Like, I loved lockdown life. That's what I loved.
Yeah.
Because, of course, the death of, like, millions of people is, like, very much on my mind. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to say I love COVID. So, yeah, I almost made that mistake. But, yeah, no, like, I honestly really loved it because, like, that was an environment where we were all sort of going through a similar, let's call it, like, tragedy or whatever. Like, we were all going through a similar thing.
Yeah.
Yet we could each come up with ways such as streaming. We could each come up with our ways to just sort of cope, but also help each other. That's a really noble thing to me. And, like, the world, I feel, with social media loses a lot of that a lot of the time, And so, yeah, I love that you talked about that. And so I was going to ask you if you hadn't mentioned it. What was your streaming life like with COVID? Because I know that, if I'm correct, you at least started streaming in 2019. And so for you to be a foot in both of those doors, I guess that, that is an interesting mechanic because you know what it's like before and you know what it's like during and after.
Yeah, I will say I can't tell if it was because of the COVID times or also because that was around the time that Pokemon Unite came out as well. But my streams at that time definitely, I saw an increase for sure in viewership and whatnot. But yeah, it definitely felt like, so many of my community members were able to start working remotely because, a lot of offices and stuff like shut down because of COVID. And so it was really nice. I felt like I got to spend more time with my community, especially those who, work in an office and like can't tune into streams at that time. Of course, it did get a little sad whenever things went back to normal. I did have community members who were like, hey, by the way, I'm not gonna be able to tune in as much. I'm going back to, my job, no more remote working. And I'm just like, oh no, so sad. But some of them will still like check in and let me know like, hey, like I watched the VOD last night. Looks like you had a fun stream, stuff like that. But yeah, it's kind of crazy how much COVID affected that time with streaming and gaming. It was, I think it was like, just one of those eras that we just won't forget.
Yeah, for sure. If I can tell you my own like content story and stuff, is I had so many people saying to me like, you must be getting such a big bump because like everybody's at home now. And I was like, kind of, but also everyone and their actual dog have channels because dogs have channels. You know what I mean? Like, so I was like, so now everyone's making like streaming, everyone's making their content channels. So the competition actually was like a lot fiercer for the eyes and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And then what ended up happening for me personally was I had a second channel that I had really just started in like 2019 for Pokemon Go purposes. And that went huge because Pokemon Go, like they decided to add a bunch of COVID kind of measures, I guess. And so I found myself in this space where I was like streaming to 800 people, 900 people at a time, doing raids from like home. And I've never had those numbers before or after that.
Wow.
So isn't that nuts, right? Like
that is crazy.
And it lasted for about a year, and that was great. Like, I do not take that for granted. So, like, I'm okay. I know that it was going to go down again. And just like you said, like, everybody started getting back to their life, and Pokemon Go started changing, those sorts of things.
Yeah.
So, just the natural progression, right? But yeah, so can we talk about the Unite-shaped elephant in the room, I guess? We don't have to focus on it too long, I know, but it's just, at least it did lead me to you. Like, I think the main thing that I wanted to talk about was just, you and I both, we are away from it now. You know, you pretty much quit. You were like, if they have Alchemy or something. I mean, not Alchemy. Who was it that you needed? Oh, Cricketune.
Yeah, so that's a meme. I hate Cricketune.
Oh, really?
The sound of Cricketune is like nails on a chalkboard for me. I can't.
Yeah, it's
I can't stand. That is actually such a great impression.
Thank you.
So we just wrapped up a Make-A-Wish Foundation charity.
Yes.
It was really awesome. I got to live stream at GameCon Canada, and GameCon Canada is just the absolute time of my life. Being a big gamer myself, I love all sorts of games. I want to hear about that, by the way. Like, if you want to talk more about that now, I say go for it. Sure, and then I can just lead it into like our current, conversation. But it's really nice because like I've been to other conventions like TwitchCon and stuff, but I just find GameCon Canada to be so just the environment. It's so genuine. It's everyone coming together who has like a common interest and a love for video games, just wanting to share that excitement and hype with others who feel the same way about video games. I find that like when I went to TwitchCon back in 2018, even before I was a streamer, it just kind of feels like you're just kind of getting together with a lot of your streamer friends, and then there's a lot of like networking behind it and stuff, but it's like it still kind of felt a little like, oh, I'm falling all the way down here. Yeah. It kind of almost feels like a superficial environment because everyone's trying to like please everyone because, you know, a lot of it is like streamers, right? And, you know, networking is like a really big thing at TwitchCon. And GameCon Canada is just, everyone is just there because they love video games. Yeah. And they're the vendors too. Like there's so much gamer merch everywhere. It's like if you go to GameCon Canada, you have to like save up money and know that you're gonna spend a lot there. Man. 'Cause, yeah, there's a lot of plushies, there's a lot of figurines, there's a lot of 3D printed stuff, which is super cool. Yeah. Tons of artwork and different kinds of artists too, of different styles. It's my favorite event ever. I miss it so much already. But I actually GameCon Canada last year was pretty much the last time that I streamed Pokemon Unite. Wow, okay. Yeah, I was doing community stuff, doing like community standards and everything, because I got to the point where I was just very frustrated with the ranking for Pokemon Unite. I felt like solo queue was just solo queue, which is a very frustrating experience. I mean, we've all been the bad random, you know. I'm not gonna sit here and, you know, be like, oh, those darn randoms, you know. Right. We've all been that random. I think. Yeah, it's weird. Yeah, because sometimes you have a game where you've got people who do care about winning and they want everyone to contribute and, you know, be a team player. And of course, you have those games where it's the opposite and people are just doing weird things and you don't understand why. And I think sometimes it can create a little bit of a toxic environment. And so I started to realize that I was kind of turning into a little bit of, I'm so sorry. There we go again. No, please. I was turning into sort of, I wouldn't say I'm a rager. If I do ever like seem like I'm raging, it's more likely for content and I'm not being serious about it. Right. But I did start to notice that I was being a bit like negative, and I think even my community could, you know, tell that I wasn't enjoying myself. So I definitely started to see Unite in a negative light. I was looking at numbers a lot, and I left the Unite scene for many reasons. Like, it's really not one thing or the other. This is a nuance. Yeah. And I started looking at the numbers and stuff, like not just my numbers, but Pokemon Unite as a whole. I think Pokemon Unite will always have its community, its fan base, its Pokemon. It got to a point where people found who they like watching, people found who they like supporting, and that was that. I feel like it's really hard to be a smaller streamer or a newer streamer getting into the community, because it's very tight-knit. And with the overall numbers plateauing on Twitch, even declining at that, I just got to a point where I felt like I think I've already grown as much as I could grow in that community. And streaming for me first is a hobby, but
Right.
I do want to grow at the same time. And so I just kind of felt like I wasn't able to expand. I wasn't able to go up any higher.
Yeah.
Not to mention, I'm very surprised that Unite was able to pull me out of my first variety art. Because before Pokemon
Yeah.
Unite, I was mainly, I was a variety streamer with a focus on Nintendo, like what I'm doing right now. And so for me, I just, I miss being able to share my love of video games. And I'm the kind of person that can enjoy all sorts of stuff. Getting out of the Pokemon Unite community really destroyed my mental. My numbers dropped so much. And it really sucks because
Yeah.
for those watching, streamers remember when you say things like, I can watch you play anything.
Yeah, so many
I'll
people
always
say
be a
that.
part of your community. Things like that. Because, like, granted, there are a lot of people who mean it and are genuine about it. But
course.
when I left Pokemon Unite, I started to realize, like, oh, this person doesn't come around anymore. That person doesn't come around anymore. This person said they could watch me play anything, and I haven't seen them in several months. You
Right.
get into your head about it, and it
That's the thing.
sucks.
And Curly and I have like really big hearts, like, and I'm pretty sensitive. So like, I really do get in my head about those things. So yeah, like I don't want to blame the other person, like
Yeah.
if they only wanted to watch me play Pokemon Go or whatever, like then that's them, right?
Yeah.
But I wanted to kind of end the Pokemon Unite like by saying this one thing is that, so not only did I find you, but I also found how you and I have similar brains in some of these things. And the main one was this, is that I really don't want to get down too far into this, okay, Curly? I feel like I'm like bringing up all the controversial topics.
No, it's okay.
I don't actually mean to. Okay, so misogyny. Basically, female content creators they go through a unique challenge, and that's already going to be a controversial statement, and it shouldn't be. Curly created a server at one time. It was a Discord server that was for essentially female creators in the Unite space, and I will tell you, it meant so much to me. Like, my heart was so huge when I said, hey, Curly, I've got these people that I think they should join it, And you were like, let me go ahead and share you the link. You weren't doing that, with other people. Like, you weren't doing that with men, because that could go very wrong, right? But you had the trust in me, which I take very seriously, but like that was very meaningful to me because it kind of just told me like Curly knows my heart on this, Curly knows my brain on this, is that I did not have any ill intentions, but yes, I did pass it along to 2 or 3, women in the space that I thought were awesome. And so that Discord though brought you so much, like, just so many people were like commenting on it, like on Twitter, like all these insecure like people. But essentially the point that I'm trying to make is that I got to a point where I was like, I feel like I like want to protect you, Curly, but like you also don't need me to. Curly doesn't need no man, you know what I mean? Like, it's just, I felt like if men don't speak up, then what's gonna happen, right? And so I thought I could at least be one man that spoke up. And so one time I did, and the guy was just like, dude, she's not gonna you, bro. And I was like, well, your mom did an awesome job of that already. So like, I just like, yeah, like I was just like, I'm already tired out from your mom, so whatever. Like, it was just bullshit. Like, this is all stupid. Like, I should not have gone down that rabbit hole, but like, that's all to say that like I could very much see it in the Unite community over others, because one time I did like this female Greedent player is amazing. It was Artriu, and it was like a whole spotlight on her, and I loved her. She was like one of my favoriteest players. And so many people reacted to that title. Like, the whole video itself was hardly about like being a woman, but like, gosh, that title, it got all those people, up in arms.
Yeah, no, it's really insane how misogynistic people can be, especially in a community about Pokemon,
yeah.
I experienced so much hate and harassment when I was in that community. That was another big reason why I had to step away too, is because just overall my whole experience became extremely negative and toxic, and I couldn't take it anymore. anytime I would trend or have a post pop off, I'd always have people in my comments just being really mean. Aside from the Pokemon community too, like it's just being a woman in the gaming space it can be hard sometimes. It's definitely not like a specific community, it's just the environment of social media these days. You will always have people, like, it doesn't matter what size you are. Of course, like, as you get bigger, those haters get louder and louder, unfortunately. So I've been in this space for over 6 years now. I just celebrated 6 years on June 3rd.
Awesome.
And I've experienced it all, and I think I've gotten to the point now where I'm like so desensitized to it that I don't even react to it anymore. I'm like, you know what? These people are always going to exist no matter what. I could be the bestest person in the world, and there will still be someone who has something to say about what I do, what I say. So the best thing I can do for myself is just be myself, be genuine, be authentic. And when these people come around and they say something that gets under my skin, or like I feel like I need to like clap back at them or get the last word, I'm just gonna ignore them. I found that a lot of people that exist to hate on people, there is something that happened in their life, or maybe it's, you know, the way that their life is currently going, where they didn't get the attention that they wanted, or, you know, it's like some kind of like projection or something. That's the best thing that I can do for myself, but also so that they see, like, I don't care about what you say to me. I don't care what your comment says. I'm just gonna keep moving on with my life.
Yeah. I'm really inspired by you in this like avenue, in a lot of avenues, but like this is where I have a lot of focus, and it's why I picked the Tiny Titan for you, because I think that what you've just described is something that a giant, metaphorically, would do, right? You are a giant, you are a force, you're a titan. You may have to be like my mentor or something. I'm not trying to sign you up for anything, but like I care a lot what other people think about me, and so like I'm just so affected. You know, I already told you I'm sensitive, big heart and all that. So it's just like, you know, I was already kind of like stumbling over my words mentioning this topic because I started it off with misogyny, and I was like, oh, if I say that, there's gonna be so many of these guys coming in here, you know, like it's good. I'm just opening up the door, and like I'm worried about that now, you know. So like I think that I can tell you, and we'll move on from the topic and everything and change scenery, but like I think that I can at least tell you that for me, maybe you identify with some of this and like have overcome it, but there's sort of at least two main things. One is just that I like have that core limiting belief, like I've noticed a lot of content creators probably have, but it's I'm not good enough, right? So that's what I think about myself all the time, which is sad, you know. Like, so aside from that, it was also just I kind of like have this incorrect expectation of the world to be fair, and the world is very not fair, you know what I mean? Like, I think you can hit a point sometimes, let me know if you hit this too, is it's like, especially with the mental health thing, it's like, I do hit a point where I said, there are no more excuses. So like, if I thought, oh, it just takes too much time to go get counseling, or it takes too much money or something, I said, I'm gonna finally like stop making an excuse, right? And like, that was a very defining time for me that I started to make a change with my mental health. So again, we'll move on, but like I really just want to tell you that I appreciate your insights again. Like I find what you're saying to be very important.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Of course. I wonder if I can like pay you to be a life coach. Like you're talking about all the things that I'm trying to do, you know? Life coach is like QOACH. So yeah, you can take us somewhere, but I also have something to show you.
Okay.
I'm guessing you could still see me.
Yeah.
But
oh my gosh!
I've got my plush buddy, and I'll follow you if you want to like teleport or if you want to drive.
I know where I want to go. I'm gonna go up to Starview Peach. I'm trying to grab this peach medallion here, and I keep missing it every time.
Yeah, let's go back for it. I just got it.
I'm gonna keep circling until I get it.
Let's go for it. Right, like I love that. It's so. Oh, that completely got me. I ran right into that.
I autopiloted and did that. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. Like, I think you should just keep being you, like, I don't mind if I get hit by something. I love that you and I both love Depresso because, like, that was the greatest, like, pal to include is that they found something that we can all identify with as these sort of, maybe, if you want to, like, include Pokemon into this, well, we've all grown up, like a lot of us Pokemon players, so we have all become sort of a version of Depresso. We need caffeine.
Yeah,
and so
I remember seeing, like, the gif of Depresso. He's like mining and he's just like barely tapping his pickaxe just very slowly, and then he just like looks over and he just has the most like unamused look on his face. And it's like, yeah, that's relatable.
Yeah, so that's the thing is we're all these, Pokemon kids that grew up and we live Depresso, So thank you again for indulging me. But this is, to me, this is going to get a little bit heavy, and I did kind of verify this with you, like, hey, can I ask you about your mom? And you said, yeah, it's okay. It's, like, okay to ask about this, and you and I both relate to each other also in the unfortunately sad reality that our parents died before they should have. Currently, I actually lost my dad just about, I guess this was about a week ago now. So now my dad is no longer with us either.
I'm so
that
sorry.
was... And this is about to get into my question, Curly, is like what you just said and what I could feel from you is somebody who completely gets it. Because how many times, Curly, do you tell people about your mom who was beautiful, who I want to talk about so much more? And like, I want to dedicate this entire like video to Curly's mom because every time you post about your mom, I have this thing in my heart. Oh my God, like I'm so gonna cry. But like, I get this thing in my heart where I just like can feel your love. And I just like, when my mom died, it was in 2013. She had breast cancer. I was like 26 or 7. Can't do math, but like, I lost the glue to my family. Like, we're gonna talk about all this stuff, like that's gonna help. But now I'm gonna let you talk. It's just... people would tell me, I'm so sorry for your loss. And it's like, there's this thing that I feel that you and me both can offer to people that I want you to speak about. That is, what exactly is lost in you when you've not only lost your parent, but there's so much more to it. So can you tell me about that? And I'm sorry, like I'm so like gonna cry, I think so.
No, it's okay.
Yeah, you take it away, please.
I've gotten to like talk about my mom and share my story so many times, and I never know like when I'm gonna like tear up or when I'm not, because sometimes I can talk about my mom and it's it's easy. It doesn't like make me overly emotional. I mean, talking about my mom always makes me emotional, but like I've like talked about it so much to where it gets easier to talk about. Especially because I love talking about my mom.
Yeah.
Because I don't get a lot of opportunities to talk about my mom unless like it gets brought up by other people, or something relevant happens to where I'm like, oh yeah, I have the story about my mom. And I think one of the hardest things for me is because my mom passed away so long ago. I was 14, going on 15, and my mom was taken from me because of domestic violence. Me and my brother, we grew up and my mom too. We were in an abusive home because of our stepdad. My mom had been married to this guy since I was 2 years old, and so he was like my father figure in my life. I called him dad. He was the only dad that I knew, and knew him for as long as I could remember. And so he was an alcoholic, and he also grew up in an abusive home. And so I think that kind of, just went hand in hand, kind of, I guess, like projected or whatever, let his past experiences take over his life, and then he became the abuser. But yeah, we were mistreated from a young age. Like my stepdad always like engaged in like very harsh, unusual punishments. We would get spanked, but they were spanks that left whelps, bruises on us. And then of course, like with him being an alcoholic, there was like a lot of emotional abuse as well. Like one day my parents would, be fighting. My mom talking about how she wants a divorce and stuff, and then, telling me and my brother we need to pack up a suitcase. We're gonna go to a hotel. And then somehow, some way, not sure how, just the way that abuse is, we wake up the next morning and my mom and my stepdad are having coffee at the table like nothing happened. And so one night, they were out with, even though like we went through this abuse and stuff, like I don't think anybody could have ever imagined he would take my mom's life away. He was extremely drunk. I remember watching him come through the door when him and my mom came home after spending, the night out with their friends and stuff. And he decided to, take out his gun and he took my mom's life. He attempted to take my own, and now I am here. I'm okay. I'm very grateful to be alive, but of course I did lose my mom. My stepdad, he turned the gun on himself, so he's no longer around. But I think like one of the hardest things that I deal with is people don't realize that even though there's been so much time, yes, I've healed a lot, but it doesn't mean that I'm always okay. I think when you lose a parent, especially at such a young age, when you start going through other chapters in your life, you have those moments where you're like, oh, I really wish they were here for this. I really wish they were here for that. My mom is the reason why I'm a gamer. My very first gaming experience was playing Bubble Bobble on the Nintendo with my mom. And my mom was the big Nintendo fan. She was always playing like Super Mario Brothers and stuff, and she's the reason why I got into Animal Crossing, because we got Animal Crossing on the GameCube when it came out, and we I don't know if you remember when there used to be like those really thick like booklets on how to like do everything in the game. I know there was
strategy
one for, like,
guide.
Yeah, the strategy guides, exactly.
Yeah.
So there was like one of those for Animal Crossing, and like me and her would sit on her bed and we'd look at like all the furniture collections and try to figure out like how we get all of them, and trying to finish our fossil collection, our fish collection, and looking up like what time of day they come out, what time of the year they come out. And so I think that because like gaming is such a male dominated industry, I'm very aware of like the stigma back then where like girls can't be gamers, but I think if it wasn't for my mom being a gamer, then I don't know if I would be a gamer today. And so with that being said, it makes me think like when I was at GameCon in Canada, I'm like, man, my mom would have loved to be here. Like she would trip out about all this stuff. And thinking about like I feel like my mom would have loved to be on stream too. Like she would be so involved with my community. We would have like collab streams and stuff together where my mom like makes an appearance and we play games together and stuff. And like I think about stuff like that. I'm like, man, I really, really wish she could be around. So yeah, even though like I carry myself really strong, I like to think. I think about things like that, and I got engaged last year, and now I'm planning a wedding and things, and so there's always those reminders that she's not here, and so you never really truly. It's hard to get over like those kind of thoughts, Now I'm getting... See, I never know. Like, sometimes, like, I can talk about it and it's fine. And then sometimes I talk about it and it's not fine.
Yeah, I am, like, devastated.
But yeah, it's,
Yeah.
Like, I think people see, like, how strong I am, but, like, they don't realize that there are things that come up in my life all the time that, make me wish that she was here and that she could be a part of it. And then, like, even when I'm going through hard times with like a friend or whatever, and you just want a parent to talk to and to like help you walk through like your thoughts and stuff, and just to be there for you for like that emotional support. Like I don't have that, and I think a lot of people who do have like parents in their life tend to take for granted the support that they have, if they do have a healthy relationship with their family, and like if they help them out financially, or if they're able to hang out with their parents every day. Like I am so jealous of people that are adults and have healthy connections with their parents, because I'm like, man, like I wish I had that. But yeah, I think that's one of the most difficult things is you obviously do manage it better, but there's always those days where it stings a little more. Even though like you manage it better, you never stop healing from it. You never really truly, I don't know what the word is, recover or...
Yeah, it's just because there's always a hole in your heart. And,
yeah.
You know, it's not like it just gets fully fixed, but like you said, I mean, you just learn how to kind of deal with it and move forward. I feel really blessed that you are trusting this project, but like me to like tell me all of this. I'm absolutely I am wrecked, like, because I kind of knew the story, Curly, but that gave me a lot of new information about your mom. Something else, I guess, is just that I already told you that I kind of have that constant feeling of like I'm not good enough or whatever, and like nobody can ever get me out of that, you know? It's like somebody might tell me like you are good enough, and like nothing would ever affect me in a way that I'm like, you're right, and like I'm better, except for my mom. It was the power of a mother, and like when I see your mom just radiates, like she just oozes like mother to me, you know? When I see pictures of her, she just oozes it. Like I'm overcome, like just from a simple picture and what you talk about. And so like that was the one thing is like that I noticed a lot early on, is that like my mom, you know, she used to say something like she could just say, you know, you're a great man, you know, or something. And like, that was like the only thing that could get me out of this like funk, you know? It was like my mom, it was like her power that she would just like, that's all she had to say, you know? She would just say like, you are a great man or something, you know? But like, I don't feel that way all the time. And so I guess just that's like something that I miss the most.
No, you are a really good person. You've always extended kindness and positivity towards me, and so I'm really grateful, you know, to have you around. But yeah, I totally relate to that. Because my mom's not around, whenever I go through things, I like to isolate and kind of like deal with things myself, and it's actually been really hard for me in some of my friendships that I've had, because I've had friends who like I think want to be that person that I go to whenever I need to hear those things. You know, I'm proud of you, or you're doing a good job and stuff, but like nothing against them or anything, but it doesn't hit the same as when you hear it from your parents. Like whenever I go through, you know, my bad mental health days, there have been situations where like I needed to just stay offline and isolate a little bit, let myself feel my emotions. Like that's how I cope with things. It was so much easier for me to open up to my mom than it is to open up to like other people, and I think part of that also stems from the fact that like my mom was my first friend. It's hard, but I have a tattoo on the back of my shoulder that never gets seen, but I got it from my mom, and it says, "I live to let you shine," and it has a domestic violence ribbon right next to it. And I got that when I was 18, and honestly, it's that like really gets me through. Is my mom was like the light of my life. I'm like the complete opposite of my mom in a way. My mom was so bubbly, so outgoing. Like she could go and do karaoke, and like my mom could definitely sing, but like she didn't care what people thought of her or anything. Like she was genuine and authentic, and I like loved her for that. Like she was not a people pleaser by any means. She did what she wanted. She lived her best life, and now that she's gone, now I live to let her light shine. So I am her light now, in a sense. And so what really gets me through is just like, I know at the end of the day, my mom would not want me to be laying in bed all day for hours on end, of crying, being sad and depressed and indulging in, you know, bad habits and stuff. She would want me to be my best self living my best life since her life was cut so short. So
Yeah, exactly. I just feel comfortable with this information in your like metaphorical hands or whatever. So, I really thank you for going through a conversation that holds a lot of weight for both of us.
Yeah.
It's difficult and we're both being vulnerable clearly, but like I just really appreciate you. If there's just something I can ever do, that I'm here for you. That I think the world of you. And I'm going to end it off by saying just that I love what you said about the tattoo and what that says and how you feel that you are now the shining example of your mother. And that's kind of what I thought, is I said, man, like when I look at these posts and when Curly talks about her mom, like I think I'm kind of having the privilege and the joy of being able to meet Curly's mom through her. Like I say, you and me just kind of go forward as powerful as we can. And we have our vulnerable moments. We have our days. Like, my mom used to love those epic rap battles of history on YouTube, It'd be like, the Mario Brothers versus the Wright Brothers. And so one time I listened to it, like, 6 years later, and, like, I just started bawling. Like, I just started crying out of nowhere. It's because I remembered, man, my mom used to love this. Like, so many people said this is stupid. So then I'd just be bawling out of nowhere. Just bawling. So, thank you so much. I'm just so sorry again.
No.
I'm so sorry.
It's I mean, it's life, unfortunately. Another one of my big mottos in life is you don't get to choose the cards that are dealt to you, but you do get to choose how you play them. And so that's why I make mention of, like living your best life for them. That's the best thing that you can do for your loved ones who have passed on, but also for yourself too. Like, life is unpredictable. Things happen, unfortunately. It's just the way things go, and some of us get crappy cards sometimes, but then you got to pick yourself right back up and you got to start living your best life. You can't let those crappy cards that are dealt to you knock you completely down. And so for me, I would rather use my story and my experience to help other people who will probably go down the same road later on in life.
Yeah. Yes. We will try our best now to kind of reset the conversation, but again, it really means a lot to me, and I'm here for you. I hope that means something.
I'm here for you too.
Thank you. I really appreciate it. All right, country roads, take me home. Here we are. So, CurlieQ, it has been again, it's an honor. Like, you see, I've been losing my words the whole time. I've been kind of nervous, I was just like, I want to do right by Curly, but this is also the first episode. So now this is like very lighthearted, right? A very lighthearted way to end things. And so I kind of just wanted to ask you almost like a game. We're going to play this little game with our words that's just basically most likely to. So, in a yearbook or something, or like your Snapchat filters, it's like most likely to do this thing. Most likely to dance like really embarrassing, whatever it may be. So I'm going to kind of give you a few most likely tos, and you're going to tell me who in this Mario Kart universe fits that the best.
Ooh, okay.
So our first example basically would be this, like most likely to participate in a protest about something really funny or foolish.
So give me an example, like a silly...
like a silly protest?
Yeah.
How about like protesting like moles being in Moo Moo Meadows, like, so some people are like mole rights, they deserve to be here, and then other people are like, get rid of the moles, and so like, let's say they were protesting moles' rights, like.
Well, we are in Moo Moo Meadows right now. I'm CurlieQ, so I feel like I'm, the representative of Cow Nation here, and I could see the cows, protesting this track right here, actually. Because you've got carts and people driving into the poor little cows. People, I just watched you blow up a bomb, so like you're endangering cow species.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
I'm just kidding.
And then all these gosh dang moles too. You made mention of the moles. Like what are these moles doing in Moo Moo Meadows? Like they get in the cow's way.
So the character would be Cow is most likely to protest. And I guess they'd be on the side of anti-moles then. They'd say moles need to get out because they're ruining
anti-moles and anti-cars.
Let's go to the next one. So who's most likely to start their own podcast?
Ooh. I want to say Toad. I feel like Toad would be...
Toad, that's a good one.
I feel like Toad would be a really good conversationalist. He's in so many different Mario games.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like Toad has a lot of experience and would have a lot of things to talk about. Can
I tell you that Toad would have like great empathy and has been through a lot, like you said. The only thing I could see that Toad might have a trouble with is like Toad does not have that podcast voice. Like he'd be like, "Welcome back to Toad's podcast," you know, like it'd be like this so
true.
like, yeah. But all right, wonderful. I could see the Mario Brothers being like a Kelsey Brothers style podcast myself.
That too,
but,
yeah.
So, most likely to become president of the Mario universe or prime minister.
I'm gonna go with Pauline, because wasn't she technically like the mayor of New Donk City in Odyssey?
Yeah.
I think she was like the mayor or something. She comes off very professional to me, like a very strong, independent woman figure that can be both professional and classy. And yeah, she kind of already has a little bit of political experience running a whole town in New Donk City. I mean, it's basically New York City, so like, it's a lot to manage, you know?
You're right.
I gotta go with Pauline here.
Man, what a dope answer. Completely based, as the kids say. Okay, so most likely to become a professional hockey player. I know that you've been getting into hockey, and that's why I chose this sport.
Well, isn't there... I have to go and look. Isn't there a sport character in this game?
Yeah,
like
Charge and Chuck.
Guy. Yeah, so like, my first thought was him. I feel like I'm missing someone, though.
Is it Penguin?
Penguin?
Master of the Ice.
Yeah, that's a given for sure. I'm gonna be unique though and go with Charge and Chuck just because he's the athletic type. But yeah, there is the snowman and the penguin, which I think they would definitely be into some hockey for sure. But Charge and Chuck, you know, he might want to explore some other different sports.
Yeah.
Let's go with him.
Okay, so most likely to cheer you up when you're feeling down.
Yoshi! I gotta go with Yoshi. Yoshi just gives me emotional support vibes. He's so cute. It makes really cute noises. It's just a happy little fellow. Comes in so many different, you know, colors and stuff. So you can pick your favorite color, Yoshi, and, you know, get the emotional support that you need. Yeah, I'd say Yoshi's my go-to for that one.
Very friendly and got the voice like...
Yeah.
Very happy. The last one is, this is getting a little more adult here, I guess, but basically, who's most likely to get drunk and start dancing on the table at a party?
I mean, I feel like the girls for sure, like Peach, Rosalina, Daisy, especially if it's like a girls' night out, you know? I could also see Mario, you know, getting down.
Like take his shirt off and be really like inappropriate.
I feel like there's so many good ones though. Like I could even see Wario going crazy too.
Okay, I'm itching to tell you now. I was so Waluigi because like Waluigi's always putting like roses in his mouth and doing like ballet dancing and stuff like that. Like, I was like, Waluigi would so get twisted and like get on a table and like spin, you know, and probably be really graceful.
Oh, I can see
but he's like, I am embarrassed to tell you how much I've thought of like the Mario universe characters at a party, essentially. Like I was thinking that Mario might be a designated driver so many times, but the one or like two times he like gets drunk very rarely and it becomes horrible. Like it's that TV trope of like, you know, he's got a 5 o'clock shadow already. He's like in a dark alley and like some people try to mug him, you know, and like he accidentally like throws a glass against the wall with how angry he gets. You know, it's just like I could see him being horrible. Like drunk.
That is so funny. I could see it too. I could also see Luigi being a DD. Like I feel like I don't know. I think Luigi would be a good egg.
I don't even drink that much, so it sounds like I do, but like this is all just a world I've imagined, like a weird person. So we could take another picture, or we could end just kind of however you feel is appropriate, but you are the coolest always. I'm always telling you that. It's probably being overplayed that I say that now so much, but I think you are the coolest, and I'm just so happy that you joined me today. I didn't even ask you, what kind of coffee are you drinking, or like what was your coffee today?
Oh, so I tend to change up my coffee grounds and my creamers. I usually drink like the same stuff. I just kind of swap every so often.
Yeah.
But I'm pretty sure this is Tim Hortons coffee grounds. Tim Hortons is like...
I know Tim Hortons.
It's a cozier Starbucks and much cheaper.
Yeah.
Coffee tastes amazing, but yeah, I usually just pick up a tub of the coffee grounds from the grocery store, and then I put hazelnut creamer in my coffee today. Usually I'll do hazelnut, French vanilla. I love anything caramel, so my go-to is usually caramel macchiato. Those are my 3 main favorite creamers right there.
Well, very cool. Again, I really appreciate it. Like I showed you, I had the Zelda mug, but I put in, there's like a local place called Summer Moon, and they do wood-fired coffee. So it's like wood-fired coffee beans, and they make their own creamer. So I could use their moon milk, Summer Moon with their moon milk. And I put CQ in my cup, and I sent you a picture. I'll have to put that on the video. But yeah, it was just an absolute pleasure. So thank you.
Yeah, no, thank you. I'm also gonna take a picture here. It just might take me a moment. I'll have to send it to you to see if you approve.
I saw a sign, a question mark box, see what's inside. I could send a blue shell to you, and that's what I'm gonna do.